I grew up in a hurry. I saw things I shouldn't have seen. People say, weren't you scared? When most people think back when they were aged 17, I was fearless. I wasn't scared of anything. When I went to Vietnam, I came back thinking, wow, I want to spend the rest of my life helping people, and I've tried to do that. My name is Patricia Amphlett. I eventually had a stage name, which I still do, called Little Pattie. I grew up in Mascot and East Lakes in Sydney. I wanted to be a doctor. And that didn't happen because quite accidentally, and I mean accidentally, I became a professional performer. One day after school, I made a record and it became a double-sided hit. Here's my blonde-headed, stompy-wompy, real gone surfer boy. Go on, you say that. And on the other side, a song called Stompin' at Maroubra. So that's the beginning of my performing career, which of course led me all over the world. My mum had received several phone calls at home from a man from the Department of Defence asking for my parents' permissions to send me to Vietnam to perform for our forces. My father came home from work after each phone call to Mum, put his foot down. No daughter of mine is ever going to a war zone, and it's a war that we have nothing to do with, really. It's none of our business. This went on. And eventually Col Joye and the Joy Boys, with whom I'd been working lots for the previous 3 years, I started singing at 14 and now I was 17, they'd been invited, and of course my mum and dad respected them very much because they'd always taken me under their wing. And before I knew it, I was on a plane going to Vietnam. The briefings that particular morning, which was the 18th of August, 1966, never forget it, that we would be travelling to Australia's biggest task force base in South Vietnam in a place called Nui Dat. And we would be doing 3 shows that day, 3 little concerts, and curfews were every day. But during show 2, I could hear lots of explosions, bombs, gunfire happening, and before we knew it, we were in an Iroquois helicopter. Usually the atmosphere aboard all of those flights is one of sometimes cheeky banter, always laughter, always good spirits. This day, there were ashen faces amongst our band. It was a terrible night. And the next day, Col arrived, also ashen-faced, and he couldn't talk. I wasn't able to talk because you don't realise things are really affecting you and what you have seen and experienced. And we were taken in a jeep to the 36th Evacuation Hospital in Vung Tau, where some of our injured were. And that was the first time in Vietnam I thought, this is truly difficult. And Col and I were standing outside the side, kind of the back side entrance of this hospital, and I wasn't feeling really good and he wasn't either. And he looked at me and he said in that Australian way, he said, "You're not sooking, are you? You're not going to cry?" I said, "No, I'm not crying." I was. And I said the same to him, and he was too. So we must have been really well trained. He was tuning his guitar and saying through tears, and he said, "Now when we go in and do our first song," I can't remember what it was, he said, "we just keep going." He said, "and that door will open and we're on." He said, "We've got to be on, we've got to be good." And it's amazing, all the training you have. Show must go on. The door opened. I remember wiping my face and we just went in and sang. They deserved some happiness, that the soldiers needed a touch of home, a big lot of home, as regularly as possible, because can you imagine what their days are like? Getting up, fighting, killing, being killed, maimed. That was awful for them. So we were a bit of sunshine in their lives. They let us know that too. I think there wouldn't be a performer who's performed to troops wherever who would not say that they are the best audiences in the world. You can see the glee on their faces, their eyes. They love you being there, and in turn we love being there. It's a two-way thing. So music, the arts, has lots and lots to do with war, but I think mostly in a very, very positive way. I think we should all, no matter which generation we belong to, know about what's gone before us, even if it includes horrible wars, and they are horrible. Yes, learn, respect. You don't have to know too many gory details, but enough to know that they gave their lives for us, so many soldiers. You just never know who was going to come back. Young people should know all of these things, because no doubt they'll have a member of their family, whether it's immediate family or a generation or two back, who will have been involved in a conflict or war. So to know about it instead of just dismissing it, I think is very important. I know I learnt lots there, and life, I'm still learning, don't we all?